does end up happening. Like you said, day 2 lowers can be the end. Wait a second here. We got a lot of players that like being in trees, apparently, not just the llamas. And Sky knows that he's got a player right below. I'm trying to think, why don't they just jump on his head? And there it is. They were thinking exactly what I had in mind. Unfortunately, though, not a single shot connects off the bat. But after that, waterbending Mythic in the box, up close and personal, used to knock down an opponent, and they're not done yet.
You kind of foreshadowed that one. You called the llama monkey. Out of nowhere, Sky and Stroll just jump down from the trees above, get the first knock. And you can see they're just playing very, very careful, not biting off more than they could chew. Sky even spots out his opponent through the cone, knowing exactly where he's at, which led Scroll feel comfortable as soon as he drops down, disengages, to go on the chase because they know that he's now a solo. This could be another easy elimination. Sky cuts off the path on one side. 120 with the first shot makes an easy cleanup for the follow-ups. Sky and Scroll just thinking outside of the box above the tree.
What a way.
Wow.
To not use the Chain of Hades. The attempt was there. I saw the vision. The execution, on the other hand, was not exactly on par. But you never know. Pablo Wingu, Bevies, taking a little detour. Pit stop on the train tracks here, as they have popped their last med kit.
So they're going to be able to get a good position in the zone, and if they keep riding this train, you see him hopping off, just getting as many materials as possible. You can see he's down to the bare minimum. The train will kind of swerve upward, and I expect around that corner them to kind of jump off the train, take the north side of the zone. But again, it's a free rotation, which is huge, because then they're able to save the Flowberry Fizz for a later day.
This looks like they're on a mission right now. They've got the players on the edge of zone they can even take pop shots at. Question is, when do they want to get off? Do they want to go all the way up north? I don't know if you're going to make it back on the train now. I got the dashes. Okay. Still, Bevies. Hold on, Bevies. You lost your duo partner. The train's too quick. You got to take another pit stop. You might be able to cut off the route here. Can he make it in time? Put your thoughts in the chat right now.
He didn't buy his ticket. They kicked him off. He had to buy his ticket at the next stop. From a team that's just having fun on the train to a team that's earning every single point, because they're not even in the bubble of going to tomorrow's upper bracket. Malibu Mustache finding an opportune elimination on top of Rift Island, which really turns the tide in their favor, because you can see Dre kind of stuck on the side of Rift Island by himself now.
Trying to take a look at the surrounding area around Rift Island. Looks pretty standard so far. Marius, though, Sangild put into a nifty situation here. Sangild's completely cracked. No shields as well to recuperate what they've lost. All they got are weapons. Not even a Flowberry to make it into zone easier.
Okay, this is scary.
Will have to do.
This
have
is
a
scary.
safer rotate. Yeah.
Not only is it scary that the fact that they have nothing. They have nothing. Barely have weapons. But it's more so that he does have that Underworld Harbinger SMG, which leads me to believe that he does have the Siphon Medallion. And throughout the qualifiers, Marius exactly put up some huge plays, got some huge position and huge placements because of that Underworld Medallion. And even though they don't have any heals, you see no shields, no HP to regain, that could be a huge turning point for Marius if he could start to pick up refresh after refresh.
There is so many duos in the surrounding area. Train has even pulled up to Reckless Railways now. You can see the amount of... I'm trying to see on the minimap if I see them. Might have pulled up with a surprise. But with so many players close by and not even that many materials, Raban now above as well. Marius either has to completely disengage here, which is like he's doing, or they kind of have to find some action. They do have more time to reform here, so they can recuperate their materials. All they really needed is enough to be able to have a box fight or any sort of engagement.
Yeah, we saw where this loot came from early on in the game. That was where they jumped down from the tree, got the elimination. 30 below, though, for Marius and Sangild. From 4 above, continuously dropping. 93. It's going to take more than just one shot this time around. And it's continuously getting worse. 117. There's really nobody in sight. It's only going to be the teams that are going to try to gatekeep him from zone, but it's Trulex. Trulex is actually down. I don't see Chicho anywhere. So a big question is if they're still in the game at all.
Only time will tell. As Sangild's gonna get boxed up, but he says, no, my journey's not over yet. 164 pump, taking out Bevies. Now with just 15 HP left, pops the med kit. Pablo is left alone.
Wow, is all I really gotta say. That is how you stay alive from one fallen scrap to loot to causing another one. Now they're able to gain a little bit of elevation, but Marius ends up on the wrong side. Targeted, he's gonna be Sangild. Can't really lend a helping hand just yet. He's just trying to get his teammate out, but Marius goes down. Water bending ability, just bleeding shots through the build. Sangild down to just 13 HP. A focus now coming in from multiple teams and players in the lobby that has slowed down, and that's just enough seconds for him to get the med kit off.
Drew Robin gonna take out Vortex. Now Pablo still up above, or still up and running. He is below though, picking up that medallion, getting the spare loot from that elimination, trying to drop down those opponents. 238 above the Storm Surge threshold. Looking healthy in terms of materials, loot, but it's difficult to clutch it out as a solo, especially if you're looking for that VR.
He's just trying to run up. He's already in zone, but he knows he is a solo. He was the one who got that first stock on the Marius. Now he seals the deal, taking down the full duo, sending them back to the lobby in the last and final game. And they started this one in 12th place, so they are inside of the bubble. You got to imagine Marius and Sangild are able to hold on to their spot on that leaderboard.
Yeah, most likely will make it to the upper bracket and compete again tomorrow. But we still have that one slot in the grand finals for today, so I'm curious who's going to be taking it. Chicho, DMR in hand, not a lot of HP to work with. He's got a full shield though, but with only 32 above, now 21 below, the pressure's on.
He has a great position. He's already in zone, but he's not going to be able to survive. Well, I might have spoke too soon. Storm Surge almost instantly turns off, but he gets shielded down to just 9. He can get some of it back, but not much thanks to the minis. Still 14 HP. Chicho just going through the ringer right now with another team knocking on the door. Chicho just trying to get out. Down to just wood. That's going to show a sign of weakness for anybody that wants to try to get aggressive.
Flowberry Fizz getting popped now. Going to recuperate all of his shield here. But like you said, they know that he's in wood. They know he's low on materials. So in theory, they could just keep taking shots. Especially if they had some sort of water bending mythic or anything that doesn't require ammunition. But it looks like he's got a bit of time to breathe now. But for how long?
Yeah, only time will tell. Luckily for him, already in zone, safe as can be. As you see, Robin and Jude just getting aggressed on by Dre. He gets knocked instantly. Darky's at the door, still trying to knock. Well, they're going to let him in all right. They're going to let him in and just take him right back on out. 2 straight eliminations with ease, and nobody really even noticed it. You saw no shots coming in from the distance, no lobby focus at all. So that is going to be all their loot and time to think about the next rotation.
Moppy looking comfortable here. Not in zone, but hitting some nice shots to just continue with their rotation here. Banana made to good use. Scroll close by. And there's Murstache and Malibuka. They need a strong finish here. They have not had a great day, starting off with almost 3 games getting elimed off spawn. They almost made it to late game in one of them, but they were unable to close it out. Now this is the furthest we've seen them up, so they really have to make it all happen here.
383 above. They were able to actually get a hold of the Grim Gate loot.
Ooh.
The medallion, and you see Murstache in possession of the Mythic Gatekeeper. 372 above the damage threshold. A little bit of a pull when it comes to the next zone, but with that medallion, the Flowberry Fizz, I feel like they're going to stagger themselves, wait a little bit, and then dash towards the front side of zone, and once again try to solidify that high ground underneath their own control.
They're looking strong here, Jacob. They're looking like they have the potential to take home this match. Grimgate loot, good shield, good mats, even positioning with the dashes makes it 10 times easier to make it into zone and continue to rotate while conserving those materials. So their dashes are coming through. You can see them flying. There's a big change in elevation for this zone though, which could cause some trouble for players on the lower end of it. But so far the zone has closed in between both, so this first rotation should not be too much trouble for a majority of the duos.
Yeah, especially since it's coming off of the high ground. Pink Vico, they're going to make their way there, create some distance between them and the lowest point on the map. 209 above the damage threshold. Really not too much to worry about. They're looking towards the backside of the zone, trying to take advantage of anything as Pablo finds a huge amount of shield but sacrifices some HP. Not very much when it comes to those builds though.
Nice job of getting into the edge of zone here. 2 boxes built out. A little bit more safety, but with the big pot gonna have to be used, and a player having just gotten eliminated right outside his box. The eyes are on Pablo right now. Their opponents don't know how low he is, but does not matter as they get right in, get that elimination. Vico has lost Pink as well. Now left as a solo. 17 duos are up.
Now it's time for Vico to return the favor of last major. It was Pink who clutched up, qualified them in day 1. But he's just literally down to the bare minimum. 9 builds, 1 mini. Forced to recycle as much as possible. And he has a far pool up elevation. It's going to be a nightmare of a rotation for him. But on the other side, Dreamin' high in the clouds. Velry, Various, bro. 9th zone as well. It's usually up until this point. If you're able to hold on to it, you're in good position of this game. And you see how much space they built for themselves, extended outward. And they have that Flowberry Fizz just in case anybody starts to target them from below.
Which is exactly what's going on right now. Volko Vortexers trying to do what they can to drop it. If zone pulls back, they're going to conserve so many materials up above, but they get dropped now. Their tower crumbles down. Good news is they did have that Flowberry activated. They will not take any fall damage, but Sky and Scroll now are going to be building up.
Yeah, they planned that one perfectly. We've seen it a few times already here on the day. But somebody else has challenged him at the last moment. That's Hydro, and he goes down immediately. And that's a big refresh. You see the banana there as well, but Hootie, he's still trying to fight for revenge. Finally drops down, gives it up. Swizzy and Vanyak look towards the backside, tries to box up one. He's going to narrowly escape as well. A lot of opportunity slipping through the hands of some of these players that are looking for late game eliminations.
One duo now climbing back up on height. Vanyak, Swizzy though, they're popping that Flowberry. Is it to go down or is it to go up is the question. It's Vortex's Volko that have taken the clouds as now they apply pressure from above, dropping down because they were too high up though.
You see them just immediately building up. They want to maintain their position on the high ground. Fast Roki, 9 HP. He gets flanked, taken out. Robon's going to be stuck by himself. I've seen that Harbinger SMG change hands at least 3-4 times already in this endgame. With no builds left, Robon's just trying to go through unnoticed, but Swizzy's ready to take all challengers. Takes down Kiro, moving him and Vanyak up that leaderboard.
3 elims onto Swizzy. Regroups now with his duo partner. Mid layer here, they have to be careful. There's thin ice down below. They cannot slip as they continue to tarp on forwards. As Murstache Malabuka, they're looking up top. They're looking at height. They're going for it. They have the dashes from the medallion. They have everything they need to come out on top. Volko now gets cracked. They have the advantage. Banana getting dropped down to heal up. Can they maintain it though? Just 4 builds to work with.
Better late than never, I always say. They're waiting to the last possible moment. Swizzy going wild. Panzer goes down. Vanyak trying to play hero, but he gets eliminated. Murstache dropping down to play Disruptor, letting Malabuka play for the heal-off scenario, but it's no. They both giving it up. They're both on the low ground, and they're both down to just HP.
Flowberry needs to be popped here. They have to recuperate their shield. It's Howley who dropped down from above. Now all the action is on the mid ground from low to up top. The players are just in an ultimate battle as Murstache now has recuperated a good amount of shield, good amount of HP, but they don't have mats, Jacob. They need to find an impact.
All those materials were used to try to maintain their position on the high ground, and now they have no position on height. No builds on low. Murstache still trying to dash around, trying to cause some confusion. Malabuka goes down. Murstache trying to bounce around. Him versus Altinzi, and he gets the elimination, trying to stay alive. But with losing his teammate, high ground's a solo as well. But he has 6 med kits, more than enough for the win condition. So if Murstache wants to end up with a victory here, he has to go off.
It's turned into a solo FNCS. Mustache on low, Sky on mid, and Volko all the way up in the clouds. Sky has already started his heal off. Who has the most medkits? It's 6 medkits for Volko, and he starts using them.
Yeah, his heal off is going to start a little early. He has more than enough time to make it so. Sky starting it as well and takes down Mustache. It was his only hope, but he cancels the medkit, leaving Sky to go on a scramble where he cannot find Volko, and he wins the heal off with ease. Welcome to the EU FNCS Grand Finals, Volko and Vortexers.
There is only so much you can do when your opponent on high ground has 6 medkits and their upper hand in terms of positioning. But that was a great way to guarantee that victory royale. 5th match of the day, the last shot for day 1 to qualify to the grand finals, and Volko and Vortexers take that spot.
Throughout the qualifiers, they have shown the blueprint. They have shown glimmers of being one of the teams to be on the region. And now with a big win here in Game 5, they get to rest. They get to rest up the rest of the weekend, watch the rest of the games play out, and prepare for next week, which is going to be the grand finals. But the big question here right now, Takada, Malibuca Mustache, 3rd place in that game. Did they get enough points to go to the uppers?
I think it's going to be enough. They were outside of the cutoff going into this match in 46th-ish. They were almost on the bottom of that leaderboard, but that's it for me and Jacob today. We need to know what just happened on that leaderboard. Frankie, what you got for us?
Thank you so much, guys. We will hear your fabulous voices again tomorrow. I think what we've got is a lobby of players breathing a huge sigh of relief because High Ground Menaces, Volko and Vortexers have now booked their ticket to the grand final, so they will not be playing tomorrow or on Sunday. They're through, and Mini Miner, you were predicting this from the start. You were predicting this for years, in fact, it feels like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's, I'll take all the credit for this. Sure, yeah, it's all my work. You know, since birth, I've always vouched for these guys. No, I think this is a team that I wasn't actually expecting to do what they just did. I mentioned it just before this game that I was expecting them to qualify through on Sunday, and they were a team that weren't necessarily going to go out and win a game. We saw them on height in the last game. We saw them have an unfortunate circumstance of Vortexers going down to 4 damage, and they didn't let that affect them. They didn't think, right, okay, we'll start to play our usual way now. It actually worked out very, very well. Again, the Vortexers, of course, going down up on height, but Volko, the credit has to go to him. What an incredible clutch from him. Just to have the nous, the knowledge, just the ability to know, okay, I've got these med kits. This is my win condition. I don't need to drop down and fight. Let's just ride out the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't believe, you know, there's been a show here today where I was probably backing him a bit more than Mini. Something's maybe a bit off here. We gotta check what you've been drinking today, 'cause I'm not too sure whether, you know, something's contaminated your water or whatnot. But look, I think the main thing here is that they were a team that had the ingredients, right? When you have a team that, you know, can get early surge because they're winning their spawn fights, they have potential to play for forecast. They have a, you know, understanding and knowledge and experience this season of playing high ground. All those things coming together, you can expect that team to be in running for winning a game. And it took them till the 5th game to do it. Boy, did it cause some heartbreak for some other teams, all right? Because there were a bunch of other teams towards the end there where I was thinking, you guys really need to win now, otherwise things could get dicey.
Levin, were you a Mustache and Malibuca believer?
I was, you know, I saw them go up for it and I thought, it must be now. It has to be now, you know, they're going to go down to lower bracket otherwise. But it's really unfortunate that this was one of the few games that went to heal off, right? And they just didn't have any of that. They were in this game to frag out and eliminate everybody out of the lobby, not to sit there and heal off. And unfortunately, that was not the lobby they were in.
Yeah, it seemed like their high ground was just looked at by, I think, 2 or 3 different teams, of course, chopped out. They tried their very best. Of course, the 3rd place is decent. Of course, not automatically qualifying through to the grand finals. The big question for me now for this duo, are they still in upper bracket? Have they made it inside of that top 25? I'm not 100% sure at the moment. They were 41st going into this game. They needed a solid game. Is 3rd going to be enough? That's 6 eliminations as well for them in that game. I actually don't know if it's going to be enough. They might be in lower brackets tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And also it's going to be just really interesting to see what happens to the map in general, because now we have got some devastatingly good duos out of the running. And actually, there hasn't been any surprises really in terms of duos that have taken victory royales. You might say Vulcan Vortex is, I wasn't expecting them to necessarily get victory royale, but I was expecting them to qualify. But they are big hitters. I guess the biggest outlier is maybe Dexy and Eclipse. But if you looked at the Twitter account earlier, you know, Dexy was saying we are going to take a victory royale in game 3, and they did. So no surprises, Levin.
Yeah, no like crazy surprises. I think outside of, you'd probably say Dexy, all of these guys have shown a propensity to win games. Like, they're all players who you could attribute game winners to when you look at the way they play the game. So no big surprises there. But even again, as you said, the only one that would be a surprise, he called it way before anybody else, right? So ultimately, I mean, big ups to Dexy. I think I'm really excited to see what sort of happens to these guys now. Of course, there's, you know, the problem of being contested at Rebels Roost isn't the best place, and they won their game in the one game, I think, where Kovacs and Stan didn't actually contest them at Rebels Roost. So we'll see whether or not these guys can continue to cook from that spot. But all in all, Frankie, I'd say somewhat predictable today.
Yeah, I think the thing that took me by surprise is the fact, of course, we had 4 games out of 5 that were high ground wins. You know, we always expect that to be a large majority of high ground wins. But I think the lack of impact of the Dash Medallion, the lack of clear-cut chances it gave the teams that had the Dash Medallion to go up for height. It seemed like the teams that were playing height today really held it down very well. They seemed to sort of suppress any fire and any potential threats that were down below with the Dash Medallion. So I think that's been the most surprising thing to me. It's not something we've necessarily seen a lot on EU, where it's like the Dash Medallion coin team doing such a great job and dominating everyone. But I think that for me was a little bit of a shock.
I wonder where you have seen that.
There's a region, I believe it starts with N and ends in A, that I think where we're seeing a little bit of Dash Medallion activity, just a tad.
Well, we'll be able to see what Mini Mano is talking about in a couple of hours' time, actually, because that show is coming up. So do stick around if you want to see the Peterbot show. We've got to talk more about the show we've got here, though, because we've mentioned the format already, but we'll explain it to you again. When we show you the leaderboard in a few moments, you're looking at the top 30, the top 5 names. It's not that you should discount them, but remember that they're not going to be playing over the next 2 days because they got victory royales and they've already qualified for the finals. The 25 names below that, they have guaranteed themselves a spot in tomorrow's upper bracket, which means it's just one lobby and they've got an extra lifeline and the chance to get a victory royale and a golden ticket to the grand finals. They'll be playing the top 25 players from the 4 lobbies that have been running consecutively in the lower bracket. It is brutal there. I'm hoping we can find out if Thomas and Malabuk have made it out, but we might not have quite finished with the competition in the lower bracket, so we might have to wait a little bit longer. And obviously in the pre-show tomorrow, we'll be talking about the duos that did make it out of Dodge and make it into the upper bracket. But that's one of the reasons that this format is so exciting, boys. I mean, Mini Miner, do you think that Thomas and I said Thomas and Malabuk. I was going back to 2023. Thomas and Queasy. I'm so sorry. Listen, okay, I love that duo so much. I love their new duos now. I respect it, but I haven't quite got over it yet, and that's something that I need to keep to myself. But anyway, Thomas and Queasy, do you think that they will have made it out of the lower bracket, Mini?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? They're 2 players that have ample experience. FNCS are winning pedigree, and Queasy not quite yet for Thomas HD, but a wealth of experience from his part as well. A bit of a shock, I suppose, to see them in the lower bracket. They haven't necessarily been on the grind as we've seen from both individuals in the past this season, but I think they're a team that should be in the grand finals, right? So I'm not too concerned about them being in the lower bracket. I think if they are still in the lower bracket come tomorrow, that's where my concerns are going to lie, because they might not even make it all the way to grands.
The birdies in my ear are telling me that maybe, just maybe, they didn't quite make it through. So we'll see if the birdies were chirping correctly. But if they aren't actually playing tomorrow in the upper bracket, and we look at the leaderboard in a second, Malabukum and Sasha also in lower bracket, that would mean the 1st and 2nd place team from last season, both of them are in lower bracket on day 2. Like, that to me, again, is just crazy, right? Like, that's just not what you would have expected. So season's all over the place right now.
Yeah, I was about to say Thomas came so close in Major 1 to winning his first FNCS Major, and I'm just on that hype train. But anyway, let's take a look at tonight's leaderboard. And as I said before, cast your eyes on that top 30 to see who is going to be playing in the upper bracket tomorrow. So as you can see, you're looking at Sky and scroll downwards. Fantastic night for them. Obviously a fantastic night for Vico and Pink as well. Constantly making it into the final zone, but not quite getting a victory royale. But I think that could change by Sunday. And obviously we've got to talk quite getting a victory royale. Constantly was a fantastic night for them. Obviously a fantastic night for Vico.
See from them, they haven't quite been able to show us what they really can do. I know that Taste is one of those players that will turn it on when it matters most, and I think, you know, there's almost a guarantee that they'll be in the grand finals. I'm not too concerned about them. They have another stab at it tomorrow as well, so we'll see what they can do.
Also, I think honourable mention goes to Sandguild and Marius Cow as well. Might not have got a victory royale 11, but they're really not. They're not shy of getting in people's faces. However, I just heard an ooh.
An ooh
Who
from
said the
Mini
ooh?
Minor,
And
because that's
tell
the
me why.
23rd place for Mustache and Malabuka.
Wow.
Just about sneaking their way on a tiebreaker, realistically, look, because of course they're on 106 points as well. That final placement point, I guess, is what did it for Mustache. So that's up 18 places for that duo. Just falling out, though, is